Come on.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Football Sunday. I'm Stacy. He's Louie, and we are here at the Sunday Tailgate. Louie, we just got some news about my favorite quarterback of all time, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even joking about that. That is 100%. Well, him and Peyton Manning. But anyway, regardless, I was so excited. I thought he was going to play today against the Bears. We get this phenomenal tweet from ESPN from Dan Graziano about how Rodgers is out, at Soldier Field, walking laps around the field, flipping off some of the cameras, using his right hand to flip off the cameras. We all know it's the left wrist that's got the injury. And it's been like, is he going to play? Is it going to be Rudolph? What are we going to do? Right. But like, he has a 25-5 record against the Chicago Bears. Like, when he says he owns them, he literally owns the Chicago Bears. And I could not wait for the opportunity today to send a bunch of shit talking memes to all of my Bears friends when they inevitably lost to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. But he's not going to play now. He's not going to play. They just announced that it's going to be Mason Rudolph, and I am distraught. Like, I'm so upset by this.
I have never lost respect for somebody so quickly as I've done in the 2 minutes we've talked so far, and I love you. You know that. I've loved you since the fan, but that what? I don't have a least. I get it. You're a Packers fan, so I understand that probably has followed you. But some things that have followed you for years, you have to cut off because they're toxic. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers should be one of them for you. Insane. I told you, and I think you thought I was joking pre-show, but now knowing your love for him, maybe you don't. I don't think Mason Rudolph is much of a downgrade, if anything. So I think that I don't think it hurts the Steelers at all. I think it was crazy and arrogant and so Aaron Rodgers to think that he could play in this game with one hand. He wouldn't have been able to take snaps. I told you before the show when I saw the injury, I thought it might be like a month. I don't think it's quite. I don't think it's that quite going to be a month now that he was so close to playing today. But I wouldn't be shocked if he missed another week after this. That's a tough injury to take snaps with. But yeah, I'm not as heartbroken as you, we'll say. And I had a couple Mason Rudolph dynasty shares just ready to jump right into the lineup. So here we go.
Look. Part of his appeal is that he is a petty bitch, and I love it so much. I'm so here for it. I love just all the ridiculous drama, and it just makes me happy. It's a little joy. It just gives a little something fun for the day. Yeah, he's had not great the last 3 games or so. That's fine. I just it's the Bears. He owns the Bears. I just needed this to happen today. It was always like my second most excited game besides my Packer game today. I was looking forward to that. So the NFL's taken that away from me. But like you, I also had to start Mason Rudolph in a dynasty league. There were literally no quarterbacks available at all. And this is embarrassing. This is a Tua CJ Stroud team. So I guess I'm glad. I guess I can be glad that Mason Rudolph is starting, I suppose.
Listen, Mason Rudolph going for 3 touchdowns today. All the 3 different tight ends, because that's all they throw to, and right. we'll all be miserable. Besides, specifically Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's what I want to see. I want to see more than anything Rudolph go off, and then them like panning to Rodgers, all pissed off on the sideline. Yes. That's what I'm most excited for today.
He is fueled by anger and pettiness, like 100%. Like nothing gets him up more than like just like wanting to just be, just totally petty. And And I love that. That's again, just that's enjoyable for me. And also too, I do hope that the tight ends get in the end zone because you know what? I have Darnell Washington on a team and I'm not sorry about it. And that wasn't like, I mean, it was a little bit of a desperation play, but who cares? Darnell Washington also brings me so much joy to watch him every single week just plow through defenders like they're toothpicks. Like it's glorious.
Gun to head, I think he's the one I'd be starting out of the three this week, like, which is insane because you just know which one's gonna whatever. And it was already the Jonah move was already weird because of Fryermuth being there. And now
Yeah.
Washington's the go-to. Well, I don't know. It's crazy, and it's not a bet I want to make any week. But if I had to, it would definitely be your boy Darnell.
311-pound Darnell Washington. Unbelievable. I love it. ESPN has him listed at 264, by the way. Obviously that must be his like combine numbers.
That was after cardio. It was after cardio. That was it.
Jamie, thanks for hanging out today. I know we have missed you. It's been a minute since we've seen you in the chat. So thanks for hanging out. We got a question in here. This is, I swear, I think they must have been listening to us talk before the show got started. Manuel Wilson or Jaylen Warren. We get the news that Josh Jacobs is going to be out today. I don't really think that was a complete surprise for everybody. It seemed like they were kind of, giving you the lawyer answer, the maybe, it depends kind of all week. They called up Pierre Strong from the practice squad. If you didn't realize he's still in the league, he is in fact. Emmanuel Wilson or Jaylen Warren today, Louie, what do you think?
The reason why you said that is I asked you maybe 20 seconds before we went on air, the same exact question. So that's great. I asked Stacy because she's a Packers fan. I'm leaning Wilson. She said Wilson. I'm going to go Wilson here. That's where my initial thought is. Warren was a little banged up. He gets cleared pretty early in the week to be here. Gainwell had a monster game last week before the Warren injury. Gainwell was already about 50-50 with him and out producing. So that's funny. So I still think it might be Gainwell over Warren. Really is going to depend on game script there, and Rudolph will probably drop off a lot to Warren, but I still like Emmanuel Wilson and what that should look like.
Yeah, I think so too. I big Emmanuel Wilson fan this week, and I like it. I just don't. Warren hasn't been very dynamic the last few weeks, and I know there was that injury and everything. And like it's eight points against Cincinnati, who's given up the most fantasy points to opposing teams' running backs. Like I don't like that there. I want to see a little bit more from that game. So yeah, I like Wilson this week. I think Jamie thought Pierre Strong was still buried on the Browns practice squad. No longer. He has gone north to Green Bay. Actually, hang on. Are they playing in Green? Yeah, they're in Green Bay today against Minnesota, division rival. I actually think that game's going to be a big Aaron Jones game. Honestly, even though I know the Packers obviously have a great run defense, but Aaron Jones coming back to Green Bay. Yeah, and I don't even know it's so much as revenge anymore because I know like Aaron Jones has a lot of love for Green Bay, and as does Green Bay love him. It was one of my all-time favorite Packer players. But I just think they're going to want him to do well in that matchup coming back to Green Bay. So I think they make an effort to get him the ball a lot there. We got a lot of other things going on this week. We had some Brandon Ayuk news. Yeah.
Did we? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to break it down, but yeah, I guess we got news. I don't know how you deciphered that news.
I don't either. Like, I guess there's a lot of drama going on between him and the Niners. It looks like they may cut, part ways here in the off season. I did see a lot of fun memes about how like they were asking him to like donate body parts to keep Christian McCaffrey alive. Which has been like the funny joke all season about how all the rest of the Niners have gotten injured, but yet McCaffrey still thrives, and it's all because they're just trying to like keep him going.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but that feels like one where like he might be grabbing some popcorn in the off season to see what happens with that. But it doesn't look like he's coming back at all this year.
No, I don't think that happens. I don't think that gets changed this year. And then, how much money did this guy cost himself by just not
Yeah.
going to meetings? I whatever.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
When things are like rumors and stuff like this, you don't know, what the details are behind it. This has been an ugly story, even like
Mhm.
before the contract. It's just, this has been a marriage that's been on the rocks for a while.
Yeah.
Um, I'd be leery probably of what's next for him. There's just so many of these situations where like a really good guy, a really good player gets hurt, and then there's character stuff, and then they just fall
Mhm.
off the face of the earth. But he was a really good player, and if
He was a great player. Yeah.
goes to Buffalo next year or something like that, like okay, sign me up on a dynasty level. So
Look at us with our transitions here, because I was literally going to ask you, speaking of people with some character issues in Buffalo, you totally called Keon Coleman.
yeah.
Not like potentially not missing more than one game as a scratch. And that is in fact what happened this week. Not that I want to bring that up. I know that was but
uh, no,
the
I'll
Keon
talk.
Coleman thing, I wanted to,
Yeah,
give you
I'll
your
talk crap about
flowers
Keon
for it.
Coleman all week. I don't know if I want to talk Bills at all, but I will talk crap about him. No, I think that experiment is probably very similar to Ayuk, where it might be done, but honestly, they need to fix the offense so bad that they might give him another chance along the way. I don't think it's coming next week even, but I do think that if things continue to struggle with the wide receivers, they might be forced into letting the kid prove himself.
Yeah. Um, Man. All right. So, guys, throw your start sit questions on into the comments. We will get to those as they come in. I know it's 11:15 now, so we'll start getting the official news from teams around 11:30. We'll get you guys updated on that. I know there's still a lot of players that we kind of still have question marks about going into the afternoon games. Um, so put those on in, and like I said, we will get to them. We're going to get to our starts and our sits here for you as well before we head off at noon. And then last but not least, Maddox is going to give you his Monday Night Football picks. I did find out his record exactly and went back and counted up the Monday Night Football matches. He is 4-14 on the season. Kind of like, I don't know whose record is around that. Is it
Uh,
he's like the Jets?
yeah, I think he's the Jets of the of picking games there. It's
Yeah.
a struggle city, but maybe he was sticking with Justin Fields for too long, and now he's switched over to Tyrod, and he's gonna go on a tear. Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he got last week's right. He, picked the Cowboys. He picked against the Cowboys in their matchup against Arizona and got that right. So he's getting a little bit better with his picks. I feel like he's making strides this season. He's like those rookie wide receivers, right? It takes them a little time to finally come on,
Yeah.
every year, and then that second half of the season, like they're on it. So that's a Luther Burden comment for today. But yeah, all right. So we're missing, let's see, who's gonna be out. Sam Laporta out for the season. That's really upsetting, right? Like, or is it upsetting for you? It's upsetting for me. He's one of my faves.
Yeah, I know you love him.
Yeah.
He was getting into very like boom or bust territory this year. Um he did not have a workload. I mean, I think Brock Wright had more targets last week than Laporta had all season. He didn't have a great game, but he did have 10 targets. So like I think Brock Wright's kind of a guy to not like. I think people saw like the box score or the points on their fantasy team, at the end of the
Yeah.
week, and are counting him out as being a factor for the rest of the year. But he was pretty heavily involved in the game plan last week, and I wonder if that doesn't continue. So I wouldn't give up on Brock Wright just yet.
Isn't that wild? Like we're over here. So I was on with our friend Eric Balkman the other night, and that was one of our was like, are we starting Brock Wright? And I was like, what planet are we on that we're talking about starting Brock Wright? Like how insane have things gotten for us? But yeah, I mean, if he's getting the targets, then it's definitely you could do a lot worse. All right. House de Huncho wants to know, Mason Taylor, is he getting more love with Tyrod at quarterback? I don't know. I don't know yet. I feel like I need to see it first. But I mean, really low. Who else have they got? Right? I mean, AD Mitchell. I don't know. I like Mason Taylor. I like him a lot in Dynasty. I don't know, Louie. What are you thinking about Taylor? They've got Baltimore today.
Yeah. So I mean, Tyrod is has not been great with the tight end traditionally. I watched him for many years here in Buffalo. He never really was able to get his tight ends involved very often. He's a small quarterback, doesn't see over the middle very well. But to your point, I do think that because there's nothing else there that he will get a boost. I think all the pass catchers get a boost there, but again, to your point, like what's there? So I do like AD Mitchell a lot this week. I have a lot of, and I'm sure we'll talk about this at some point later, maybe with props and stuff, and he might even be in my start list. I can't remember, but like I have a lot of money invested on AD Mitchell having a good game today. I'm starting him in a lot of spots. I've played a couple of his props. There it is. Yeah, I think this is, and he's like the perfect Tyrod guy. Like Tyrod likes going down the field to his outside. Like I said, not a lot up in the middle, so like he's not going to really help the slot guys or anything like that. But I think AD Mitchell is the guy that's going to produce the best with him at quarterback. And yeah, to House de Huncho, I'm betting on him big today.
Yeah, I mean, he got 6 targets in week 11, so you definitely like that. Let's take a look. What's Baltimore doing against the I mean, Baltimore's defense too, to be fair to them, like they've gotten a lot better over the last several weeks. So they, like had a lot of issues at the beginning of the season, but have kind of made their way a little bit better. But they're still right now giving up about 37 and 0.2 fantasy points to opposing teams wide receivers every week. So,
yeah, they have gotten healthy. And so since they've gotten healthy, you're right. The defense has gotten a lot better. So it's hard to use those stats because they were so bad the first 5-6 weeks. Yeah, I think someone's got to catch the ball. They're going to be in a negative game script probably.
Yeah.
His over under, I think, is like something stupid. It's not high at all. I mean, he could have 100 yards. I'll say it. Clip it. 18 minutes. Clip it. Put it out there later today or erase it immediately. 32.5 is his line with only 2.5 receptions is the over under. Like give that to me all day. Plus 425 on a TD.
Oh yeah.
All those overs. Give me 2 touchdowns. I want 2 touchdowns and whatever that is.
That may be greedy. We may be getting a little greedy there. 2 touchdowns. I don't know. I'll give you one. I'll give you 1 touchdown. That would be good. That'd be good for him. He had a rough go of it there in Indy. Maybe a new change of scenery will be good for Mitchell.
I think he's a good ball player.
Yeah. All right. So Godwin is apparently going to be starting tonight against the Rams. I'm not sure how I feel about that particularly, but Bucky's not going to be playing. I'm pretty sure we haven't gotten official on that, but that's kind of where things are trending. What do you think about Godwin? Like because I've just kind of left him on a few teams where I've had the ability to just leave him. Do you feel comfortable enough to start him? What does that do for Emeka and Tez Johnson, who have kind of been the guys while everyone else has been injured? Kate Otten, does that make any difference with those two for you?
Nothing tonight, or whatever tonight, tomorrow night. It's tonight, right?
Tonight,
nothing today. I think he'll be on a snap count, which is reported. Sometimes I don't love following those reports because they're usually followed with 20 targets and 150 yards. Like, he's going to be on a snap count. He's like, what? I don't. It was a tough injury, long injury. They have a good wide receiver, good offensive going on right now. I don't think that they'll force him back. They're going to be. I think this is like going to be like a 3 week where they're like kind of slowly transitioning back in the OGs. Godwin today. I think Irving sounds like he's going to be back next week, and then maybe Evans over the next few weeks. So like, they get more dangerous here soon. I don't like Godwin tonight, but I don't know. He's over. I mean, I can't even really have too much optimism for him. Obviously, he's a good football player, and he's going to have a role here down the line. But I don't get excited for him tonight.
Yeah, I feel like that's that's probably the right way to handle Chris Godwin right now. Week 13, they do get Arizona and then New Orleans, followed up by Atlanta, who's kind of reeling right now, at least on their offense. They've got a nice schedule the rest of the season. So, other than once they get past the Rams today, I think things lighten up a little bit for them. Man, do not tease me with a good time with Mike Evans coming back, because I have a team that like is probably one of the ones that might actually do something for me. And Evans was a big part of that. And so I've just been hanging on to him, hoping for the best with that. So keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, keep him. I would say keep him crossed, but I do think he gets back in time for the fantasy playoffs. Now that becomes tough too, because if it's like week 1 of the fantasy playoffs, are you going to take that chance to put him back in? Right. I mean, age and injury and the emergence of Ibuka and the rest of the offenses would be a little bit scary, but yeah.
I was kind of having this argument about Mike Evans like all season going in about how, I was definitely still taking him because I thought, for sure, obviously this is before the injury, but like, the Baker and the Bucks were going to do everything in their power to get him the 1,000 yards so he can break that record. And, and then obviously gets hurt. So he doesn't have any chance to do that this season. Unless things get real crazy, like I don't think he's doing that. So that's a real bummer for him that streak is going to come to an end. But man, I think if they put him out there, I think they're good. If they're going to risk putting him out there, I feel like they're going to use him. But I guess, that's an argument for a day when he's actually active. So
yeah.
Who's your little friend behind you?
Oh, is he? Oh, sorry. I didn't even see him. This is, which one is this? You're Elton. I have Elton and Prince. Elton is trying to be part of the podcast.
What are Elton's thoughts on the Bucks?
I don't know. What do you? Yeah. Okay. He just wants food. That's. I think that's what it is.
Just like the Bucks offense does. We are a pet friendly podcast here at the Tailgate. As you guys have heard, Maddox make his opinions known more than one time for sure. All right, guys. So I want to move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got BTJ out. Do we even care at this point? And do we feel like this is rest of season? Because I kind of think this might be rest of season.
Are you saying that in the sense of like you think the injury is worse than what they're letting on, or you think because they're in a playoff spot, so it's not like it's not like they can just be like, okay, you're young and you're a stud wide receiver, you had a rough year, we want you to just relax, get back to health, and we'll see you next year. They're gonna want him back as soon as he can. He's obviously been struggling. I wonder if some of this injury stuff hasn't been like part of it all year, maybe like an injury that we didn't know. It's weird. I didn't love the player coming out of college, and I did not love and I was hurt financially and in fantasy by not being invested in him after his rookie year. But I don't think this is who he is. But I don't think last year was who he is. I think he's somewhere kind of in the middle of what his rookie year and what this has been, and probably a little bit related to injury this year. And maybe a guy like Jacoby Myers, and who knows if he sticks here, but at least for the rest of this year, I think Jacoby Myers might open up more for him when he does come back. In Parker, the emergence of Parker Washington, like I think Thomas Jr. could still be a pretty big part of this offense when he's back. So no, I'm not giving up on him. Do I care? Yeah, it gave me a really good opportunity to start Parker Washington on a team that I need some ceiling from this week to get into the main event playoffs there at FFPC. So yeah, I cared because I got to start Parker Washington in I think a pretty good spot there.
I don't know. And maybe rest of the season is a little dramatic here, but I mean it has been like the whole season. Like his only decent game was against Seattle. He had 23 fantasy points there. But it's just been such a struggle for him. And I mean, even like practicing all week and then still not being able to be active, like, and not connecting with, Trevor Lawrence when he is active. I don't know. It's weird. And I had a lot of him last year and that worked out well for me. So I was really in on him again this year. And then that has not been
there it is. There's the answer. The answer is you're a scorned woman and
exactly.
you're wishing an injury on him for the rest of the year. That's what.
No, we're not wishing injuries. I was just like, well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like want an excuse to kind of like move on from it so I don't have to deal with this every week.
I get that.
But speaking of Jacksonville and their offense, they're going to get some help today. They got Brenton Strange is back, activated from the IR, and is going to be playing today. So I think that boosts them a little bit. They get Arizona. What are Arizona's numbers against tight ends? I'm curious. I didn't look that up earlier.
I did not.
I mean, okay. So they're giving up about 15 or so points, fantasy points to opposing teams' tight ends towards the bottom part of the league. So you do kind of like that a little bit, especially, if they are needing some help there, with their offense. So Brenton Strange, he was one of the guys that I was really high on as far as tight ends at the beginning of the season. But, obviously with him being on the IR for so long, we really haven't seen that. So, I think I put him in my Scott Fishbowl lineup. As I only had him in a couple places, but that's where I put him in today.
I like him. I have him to score a touchdown, I think, in one of my million prop bets. But so I like that. I just like that game to be pretty high scoring. So like I think that game, that's why I like Parker Washington. Obviously Myers looked like he's going to be a big part of that. I don't love Myers as far as like getting in the end zone often. Mm-hmm. So like, that's why Parker and Strange are exciting to me today. And then obviously on the other side, I know I might be doing this again for you with segues, but McBride and I know you're big on Michael Wilson today. I think that could just be a really high scoring game.
Yeah, I am super big on Trey. I mean, how can you not be with Trey McBride, right? He's just been amazing this season. And then, Michael Wilson. So it's kind of like, how can he do that again, right? 185 yards. That's not. And then somebody actually asked Jonathan Gannon, their head coach, that, and he goes, I don't know, he might. So I don't know. Maybe he's probably just being a little sassy with the media, but I don't know. That was enough to like. If I was sitting in a league where I had Wilson, and like, here's one for you, Louie. Let me ask you this: Wilson versus Zay Flowers.
Oh, Wilson.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So I have that going on in one of my main events, and so that right there was kind of the enough to push me over the edge and be like, he might. Let's do that. I'd rather take that than kind of take what I've gotten with Zay Flowers all season long so far. So I mean, Zay Flowers has like one touchdown or something crazy, I think, right?
Yeah, I think I'll even go a little bit further. I think he's right at the edge of like a top 12 wide receiver this week. Like I think he's like somewhere in between like 12 and 15 for me. And yeah, I wouldn't be starting many guys over him, obviously.
No, I mean, and their running game is a little banged up too, and then obviously with Marv out and everything. So this is a Trey McBride, Michael Wilson day again. I think all day.
Yep.
With those two, love that. All right, so I mean, I hate to be a homer, but not really. So we're going to talk about the Packers a little bit more We already talked about Josh Jacobs, but Matthew Golden is going to be out too. Jaden Reed has been designated for return. Obviously, he's not back this week, but I think he's back. I think he's back on Thanksgiving against the Lions, and I'm excited for it.
Might be that quick for him. I mean, as a Packers fan, I think the news is bigger than in fantasy, which might be more frustrating, to be honest, because it's just another guy to throw in the mix and kind of try to figure out who's going to be the guy that week.
Mm-hmm.
With the Kraft injury, it doesn't hurt as much for the rest of the year. I think Reed is the best of them all, and I know that you were talking about whether or not the kind of discourse between Reed or Watson, who's the real number one. I think they're different skill sets, right? So I do think that they both have the ability to be really good in that offense. And I mean, then you got Dubs who might be, again, they're none of them are a wide receiver one, but they're all 2As. And I think they all kind of fit that same, like as the same skill level, but they do three different things. So I think that it just makes it difficult to choose, on a game-to-game basis who it is. But Jaden Reed would be the one that I would feel most comfortable starting each week once he's healthy.
I think so too. And I was just taking a look at the target share from week 1. That was the only week that Reed really played. He got hurt in week 2. He led the team in targets in the first week with 5. And I just, I think you're absolutely right there. I think once he comes back, he's going to be the kind of preferred target there for Jordan Love. And so I again, like when I was on the show with Balky on Thursday, we were talking about, because he's a big Packer fan also, and so we were talking about, like, they haven't really found an answer of how we're going to replace what Tucker Kraft brings to the table. And we were talking about how Jaden Reed's skill set is probably, out of the group that's still there, that's healthy, is the most similar to what Tucker Kraft can do. And so we're like, okay, well, maybe, once Jaden Reed comes back, at least that'll give the Packers a little bit of it. Not the same, obviously not the same at all, 2 totally different players, but they do kind of have a little bit more in that kind of yak that you love so much from Tucker Kraft. So, maybe at that point, maybe that'll, Reed will be able to kind of contribute more in that way. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. And I love that you think he might be back Thursday, because I have him in enough places to be excited about that.
Be a Thanksgiving miracle. Oh man. Okay. So Burrow's been practicing this week. He is not going to play this week. They are going to stick with Flacco. Do you just feel like the Bengals are kind of like rushing this? Like, why are you pushing your franchise to come back on a team that is not going to make the playoffs? It seems a little, to me, I don't know. I'm kind of like, why are we doing this? I get it. He's a competitor, right? I'm sure he wants to be out there and help his team. But if we're not winning, why are we going to risk it? That O-line is terrible. Like, I don't want him getting hurt again.
If it was this week, I would say, are you certain that they're not going to make the playoffs? I think if they don't win today now against the Patriots, obviously it would be tough at 3-8 or at 3-8. But like, the division sucks. I think Pittsburgh sucks. I think the Ravens are the clear-cut favorite to get there, but they had such a slow start that, I don't know, Burrow on that team coming back, like, I could have got on board with that getting hot and them catching a wild card. Yeah, I think it's more so we're talking about Rodgers before this game. I think it's more so an ego thing with these guys and whatever. I appreciate that. I appreciate that he wants to get back. He beat the timeline by a crazy amount. And yeah, I wouldn't rush it. They're saying it sounds like he is going to play Thursday, which to me, I would wait until the Bills game the next week. But yeah, I'd let him play if he wants to play, I guess. I mean, it would be crazy. I mean, it would be crazy if he went out and got hurt again. I mean, it might end his career. I like hate to be over dramatic, but like if he went and blew out another knee or something, that might be the end of it.
Yeah, and that's just my worry, right? I mean, maybe the Bengals are just really confident that they have a chance, and and it's a great Thanksgiving primetime matchup against a division rival. So I'm sure I'm obvious. It's obvious why he would want to be out there for that. Um, we've got a couple actives, inactives that are coming out so far. It's right around that time. Pacheco's out. Obviously, we kind of knew that. I don't think anybody was really relying on him for anything this week.
No,
Were you? I don't know. He's still
no.
lingering on some of my benches, but I did sure enough think about maybe cutting him this week as if I needed to. We got Xavier Worthy has that ankle issue he's been dealing with, but he is active today against the Colts. Kenneth Walker, Ramondre, they are both going to be out there as well. Deep leagues. Isaac Tesla, Dontavian Wicks, and somebody that I was really excited about going into the season that hasn't really done anything and didn't really make the team like I had hoped he would. Xavier Restrepo making a start today.
I like that.
Yeah,
They have nothing, right? I mean,
right.
DK is like legit. Showing himself to be. I think he could be a really good player in this league. So he's the clear number one there. But yeah, if Amnar struggles getting back here health wise, this is a really good chance today for Restrepo to see how he does.
I think so too. And like what kind of made me really excited about him coming out was that obviously teammates in Miami with Cam Ward, they have that connection. And then once Cam Ward got drafted with the Titans, he kind of did the CJ Stroud thing where he was really like kind of advocating for Tank Dell to get drafted. And so that's kind of what he did with Ward, not Ward, Restrepo. Restrepo was an undrafted free agent, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't get drafted, but they did sign him after the draft. So, hopefully they connect on a few things. I got a few best balls things lingering out there where I got a Restrepo on it, and I'm like, that'd be great. Not that I think they're gonna have a great day against Seattle.
Yeah, it might be. They have to do something. I mean, somebody has to do something. They're not going to have somebody's going to get yards there, and I don't know who it is besides DK.
Oh my gosh. All right. Last but not least, this was just kind of a little blip that I saw yesterday pop up. It's probably nothing, but it said Devontae Smith was traveling to Dallas like on his own, like separately from the team. That feels weird, right? Have you seen anything else about that?
Yeah, I did see the story. I think what happened is they were all hanging out and ordering a bunch of pizzas, and then him and AJ kind of got into it, so they sent him up to the attic where he had to sleep in the attic, and then they all left on the plane, and then on the plane, Sirianni was like, "Oh my God, Devontae!" Like, it's a Home Alone type of situation. He right now he spent the day letting AJ Brown's tarantula out of the case, and shooting. I think that's what it was. It was just a simple misunderstanding, and they're gonna reunite, and everyone's gonna hug today, and that's what they needed to get back together and realize how important family is. So now AJ Brown's happy, and he's gonna go home and see his messy room and scream, "Devontae!" Sorry. All right, we all know the movie. I'm just gonna keep quoting it, I guess.
Are the Cowboys?
How long I can do this? I want to see how long I can do this bit for. Can I carry it on for 20 more minutes? Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the Cowboys are the Wet Bandits then, right? Like is that CD and Pickens? They're the Wet Bandits for sure.
Yes. That's I need to make that meme later with them just like I just want to do it where like Stevie's got the burnt hat.
Yeah. And then Pickens has like the flower like the feathers. Like,
yes. That's so good.
That's fantastic. Who's the old man from next door? Is that
the old man next door is Doug Peterson. He's still just lingering around, trying to make things better.
Oh my God. Not Louie. This is like the second time that Home Alone has been kind of like. But I was reading a smutty romance book that was called "Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal." Shout out Megan Quinn. I'm sure she's watching. But yeah, based on so many Home Alone little like bits in it, little Easter eggs.
That's
Pretty
great. I love a good smutty romance novel,
yeah,
so I'll be looking that up the next time I'm at the library.
yeah,
Excuse me, do you have this? Great, thank you. My friend said it's really good, smutty
it's
and
great.
romantic.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Highly recommend. I'm sure that is probably not what our demographic is reading, but you never know. You never know. We don't judge here. We encourage all sorts of entertainment, whatever you're into, whatever floats your boat. Yeah. I was just trying to look at like last like what do we got like our targets here? I hope Devontae Smith makes that trip down there, man, because like I think if anybody's gonna have a good day against Dallas right now, it's gonna be him because I don't know what's
He's
going on with
there.
him.
He's there. He made it. It's all good.
Oh, thank God.
He's there. He's ready. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I always think about this stuff where, kind of how I would, and like how do you make a pouty baby feel better? Sometimes you just give them what they want, because as a father of a 4-year-old, I kind of understand that. Like, all right, fine, you're pouting this here. I wonder if they don't force the ball to AJ today a
Yeah.
little bit because of what's going on there, just to appease them, rub them on the back, tell them it's okay, make them feel better. And I think that's what we'll see today. But
I was looking at their schedule and they've obviously played New York twice, so there's not going to be a Home Alone 2 Lost in New York next week, which would have been amazing.
that would be great.
Oh man. All right. So, I think we can get to some of our starts and sits now, but Louis, tell me who are you high on this week?
For starts, I'm gonna I'm gonna give you some. I always feel like I do this. I feel like I kind of go overboard where I'm not gonna give you the back end 10th or 11th ranked guy and be like start him. I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
some real deep polls. I'm just gonna run through a couple. For quarterback, I liked Shuck and Winston both. I think that Shuck has a really good matchup there. He's been playing good the last couple weeks. Olave is a monster this week. I really like Devon Bailey this week at wide receiver with him, paired with him. Winston's going to just be in the right game script where he's just going to be throwing a bunch. So I think he could be fun. He might throw 7 picks, but he'll get you maybe get 3 touchdowns and 500 yards. Running back, a couple guys I like, Tracy and Stevenson, both I think are really underappreciated. Tracy should be getting some of those catches in a negative game script. Stevenson, I don't know, man. I don't know what pictures he has of Rabel, but this dude just loves him, and he keeps giving him say. And even with Travion Henderson looking great the last 2 weeks, would it shock you if they were like 50-50 today?
No.
Not at all.
Would you start both of them?
I would start both of them for sure. Yeah, like I think both can be great against that Cincinnati defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Bailey already at wide receiver. Darnell Mooney being put back with Cousins and being the only viable thing there. I like him a lot. Judy has a great matchup today. He looked like he might be building a little bit something with Shador. They got a great schedule the rest of the year. Like Judy's somebody that's like on my radar for the rest of the season. Hunter Henry is going to have a great matchup against Cincy. I know we've mentioned that like 3 times on this podcast about how bad they are at tight ends, but like, go ahead, keep playing them. And Theo Johnson, for the same reason that I mentioned Winston and Tracy, negative game script, should get a lot of targets.
Yeah, I am definitely on Hunter Henry today. Bengals. I know, like we had Drew Davenport on like a while ago, and he definitely made a really good argument that like you really don't necessarily shouldn't always rely on the fantasy points against tight ends or for tight ends stat. But it's hard to argue with the one for the Bengals because they are giving up like the most to the tight end position. And that has pretty much worked out every game that they're in. So I do like Hunter Henry a lot in that matchup. For me, I think I'm going to go. We just talked about starting Ramondre and Travion Henderson. I think he definitely has naked pictures of somebody for sure. 100%. Like there are naked pictures out there that Ramondre is hanging on to as his I don't know, little currency to get back in the game. But I like Bijan and Tyler Algier today. I like both of them. Saints are giving up the 18 most fantasy points to opposing teams running backs. And I just feel like this is going to be like Kirk's had a hard time moving. So like if he can't get the ball out, like I just think they're just going to rely even more on the run game with these two back there. I mean, honestly, even before it was Cousins, like I felt like you could probably start both of them, which is the way that, like Algier gets in and Vulture's touchdowns from Bijan. And Bijan will get you the yards, but, Algier is going to get you the touchdowns. I like Roma Dunze here, and I am fully aware that this could be a huge L for me, given his kind of like up and down, like boomer bust that he's been going through since week 7. But literally, it is like clockwork. He's been alternating good week, bad week, good week, bad week. If you go back and look at his numbers. So if you're going by that, he is absolutely due this week. And it's a great matchup against the Steelers, who are allowing the most passing yards per game this season. I just think it's a really good matchup for Caleb Williams as well. I like Luther Burden in this game. His snap percentage has been increasing over the last 2 weeks. It's kind of made Olamide Zaccheaus, who is kind of in that number 2 position, like invisible, really the last couple weeks too. So I just like the even though it's the Bears, right? And I still was hoping that Rodgers would still own them. I still like them in that matchup today. A couple of honorable mentions. We already talked about Michael Wilson. I like Jared Goff a lot today at home in Detroit. I think they're pissed off. They get a rebound. I think coming in against the Giants, I think it just makes like a great day for them because they're so much better at home than they are on the road. They've got 81 touchdowns out for a field versus 40 on the road. He has a much better passer rating at home too. Fewer interceptions. He just prefers being at home so much. And I think are they indoors? Are the Lions indoors for the rest of the season?
I don't know about the rest of the season. While you're looking up the schedule, I will just piggyback off of what you're saying. There's like a back and forth there, right? Like I get nervous about the game script because they should be up a lot. So like, will they need to throw the whole game? But also it's Dan Campbell who does not care about running up the score. So I think I agree with you.
So they are, except for they're at the Bears last game of the season. But yeah, they've got the Giants today. Then they're at home for the Packers on Thanksgiving, Cowboys at the Rams, Steelers at home, at the Vikings. So yeah, so they're indoors for the rest of the season. So you got to love that if you have Jared Goff on your team. I'm going to go with Sam Darnold today. And I am worried that he's a little in his head over the last couple weeks with all the interceptions. It kind of feels like, is he reverting back to old Sam Darnold? Like, we don't know. But if he can't get right against the Titans, then I guess sound the alarms. Things are going wrong in Seattle. And I like Wandale for all the reasons that you said this week. Like if you've got Jameis starting, man, like come on, you gotta throw the receivers in there too.
Yeah, I think the Giants are a really fun fantasy play this week. Just all the way through. I just think he's gonna keep throwing and they're gonna they're gonna be down the whole game. Like, sure, they're fun.
Yeah. All right. Who are we sitting? Who do you hate this week?
Well, I'm gonna counterpoint you right away. I won. Darnold is one of my sets.
Okay.
One I don't love, or I don't hate the Tennessee defense. Like I think that they could, be decent against the pass. He has been struggling. He might be in his head a little bit. Also, they should at least win pretty easily. They have Walker and Charbonnet both healthy playing this week. I think they'll focus on the run a little bit more, just making sure that they get out of this thing just like how they should, just run the ball, beat them up and call it a day. So he's a sit for me. Rashee Rice, I'm going to call him a sit. Sauce will be lining up against them. Worthy, healthy. I think this might be a big game for Kelsey out of all those, but I don't love this matchup for KC, and I'm gonna just go out and say, like, I just don't think they're good this year. I think something's wrong and something's it's not looking great there. Indy's defense is better than they're getting credit for. And I think Sauce will match up with Rashee all day. I think he'll follow him. So yeah, I'm gonna call Rashee Rice as like kind of like my kind of hot takey sit. And then Ferguson for Dallas. It just Philly's really good against the tight end. Pickens and CD are eating up so many targets. They're going to have to run the ball a little bit, to stay in the game. So like, I just don't see it unless he gets like a touchdown or whatever. I don't see the volume for him.
I can't believe that we have made it this far into the show and have not talked about Indy KC. This is when we first got to it. That's crazy.
We were going to talk about the games we were most excited for at some point, and I think we skipped over it. But like, that's it. That's as a football player, as a football fan, that's the most exciting game on the schedule this week. I'm not overly excited about it in fantasy because I do think it's going to be a little bit more of a low scoring matchup than what that would look like. Obviously you're starting Taylor all the time. But even like Indy's wide receivers are hard to decide on. You're starting both tight ends, Kelsey and Warren, but like, again, I just called Rice a sit. Worthy hasn't been great. Like, I don't know if I'm starting any of the wide receivers in that game with confidence.
No, I mean, and the Chiefs defense, I was just looking and against every single position, at least top 12 or higher, giving up the fewest like fantasy points or so. So, I definitely don't like this. This is one of the higher over-unders of the week, which seems a little, I don't know if they're just like banking on Jonathan Taylor trying to just go crazy, but it's at 49.5, or at least is that what do you see 49.5?
I didn't pay attention to that today. I will look at this or I'm looking it up right now, but that's that seems high. And I think that would have thrown me off if I would have saw that, but I could be totally wrong, but that does seem higher than what I would have expected.
It definitely does. The higher ones are going to be New England, Cincy, and New York Giants, but
it opened 45.5 and has gone up to 49.5. It's 50.5 right now in DraftKings. So like, people are betting the over there. So maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe this is a shootout and I don't have a good read on that game. That scares me for sure. But even that point, it's like, sure, maybe I'm wrong on Rashee, but with the other wide receivers, it's like it's still a crapshoot of who you're picking. When you talk about Downs, Worthy, Pittman, Pierce, all those guys are like they could be boom or bust.
Yeah. I think, like if they hadn't made the trade for Sauce, I might be a little bit more inclined with Rice. And I mean, you're probably going to have to start Rice somewhere, but I definitely think you've got to lower expectations now because you're right. I mean, Sauce is going to be all over him today.
I think so. I just do think that they're good enough scheming around that they'll, Reed will just take that as a hit. Like, okay, fine. We'll just, why do guys like Sauce Gardner get this big rep? Is because people don't throw to them. They're not forced to make plays because they just have this rep in their heads that they're great. So then people, just work around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We got a question from Jelly of the Month. I love that name so much. PPR flex. We got Tootin, Sharbs, or Gainwell today. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like with Charbonnet, they're going to have opportunities again. That Tennessee defense is not as bad as the team is in general, and I think that's just. I think obviously their offense is really bad, which I think makes people just assume that like the entire team sucks. I don't know. I think I'm tooting on this one.
He looked like he was, finally carving out a role before the injury last week, but then Etienne looked really good after the injury. So it's like, what does that look like this week? There's arguments for all three of these guys not to cop out because even Gainwell, like I said earlier, I think we were talking about it with Warren. I think Gainwell looked better than Warren even before the Warren injury. Now he's come back. Is he going to have, what does that workload look like? And now Walker back with Charbonnet, it's just they're all clouded and can be really based off of game script. And if we're going to go that route, I think Charbonnet is probably my pick, only because they should be up and running the ball often. And so if I'm anticipating 50-50 splits in those backfields, I guess I want to go with the most run heavy team.
Yeah, and he's always a threat for a touchdown too. When they get in close, they like to do that. I know Walker's numbers have been kind of inching up a little bit. You've got some coach speak there over the week about him earning more, time too. So yeah, I mean, there are great arguments for all three. That was a tough one. Jelly of the month. I love it. One of my favorite Christmas movies. Okay, so here's some of my sits real quick. Chase Brown, this is just really has more to do with New England run defense. They are allowing the fewest rushing yards per season, tied with the Rams for the fewest or the least amount of rushing touchdowns. I get it. I know he's looked a lot better than he has over the season over the past couple of weeks, but I just feel like that New England run defense is so tough that they're just, going to shut him down. Louie, I don't know if you knew this, but for the first 9 games of the season, they didn't allow an opposing team's running back to get more than 50 yards.
Yep.
You know who did in week 10?
Let's see. Week 10 would have been, I don't know.
Sean Tucker did it.
Again, we want to talk about how we get so long into a podcast without mentioning something. We can't believe we're 56 minutes in without talking about Sean Tucker, because I know they're probably getting Bucky back next week. I would not even
hang on to him.
I wouldn't be shocked at all if Sean Tucker kept the lead role, even with Bucky back.
Yeah, he's looked great. Really like that. Rashid White, on the other hand, has not looked great at all. He's put up some stinkers recently. So I'm big Sean Tucker fan. Chase Brown, not so much. If he does get some points on you, I mean, that might be through, his work in the passing game. That could be the only thing I can think of right there. I don't like Jordan Addison this week, and this is just really more so McCarthy. And again, I think I mentioned it earlier, I just think is a big Aaron Jones game. Right now, Addison, he hasn't had more than 50 yards since week 7, which you don't like. And again, it's ugly back there with McCarthy. So don't like that. I have an honorable mention, and this sounds, I think earlier in the season, it might've sounded spicy. I don't know if it's spicy now. Ashton Genty. I don't like it against Cleveland. The Raiders are spiraling. Cleveland's given up the 6th fewest fantasy points to opposing teams' running backs, allowing only 5 rushing touchdowns, which is the 2nd fewest. And Genty only has 4 on the season. So I don't like it this week. You probably don't have a better option than Genty. I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you got really lucky and grabbed somebody off waivers, or one of your later round guys popped, but I don't like it for Genty this week.
It's tough to sit him, but start him with lowered expectations, I think, is the better way to put it.
Yeah, for sure. Louie, I'm going to ask you about your DFS picks, because I have given up on mine. Mine are just famously terrible every single week. So I'm not going to give anybody mine, because I don't want anyone to lose money. But you're much better at this than I am. So who do you have?
No, I would say that. I mentioned a lot of these guys on the pod so far, but I'm playing like the Atlanta New Orleans bring back with Mooney, Vele, Olave. I kind of like that because it will be a lower played game. I think 4:00 games are always a little bit less played because nobody wants to wait for the points, 1, and 2, especially that game's not pretty at all. Hunter Henry, McBride at tight end, those guys. And yet it's so hard not to pay up for JT and these things. He's just he's setting himself, to a whole nother level. And it's really hard to draft guys that are going to be 60% owned, especially in these bigger tournaments. But I think he's going to be on the winning team more often than not. So I think he's worth it. And that's why cycling in some of these younger guys or these cheaper guys are fine when you put him in, because no one's going to be owning Devon Bailey. No one's, so I'll throw in a couple long shots with JT and play it that way.
Nice. All right, kiddos, if you stayed with us this long, it must obviously be because you were just dying to see who Maddox is going to pick for the Monday night matchup. Panthers are flying out to San Fran to play the Niners. Here we go. I switched up the music this week. I hope you enjoy. Going with the Niners. I loved his little hop, like right when he got in there. God, he's so cute. I can't stand it. Yeah, going with the Niners. Any big fantasy start sits for this matchup? I just think it's going to be a CMC revenge game.
That's it. CMC is great. I like Pearsall to bounce back here. I think it was a rough week last week. He getting reintegrated in the offense, but let's not forget the player that he was early in the year. I think that can be really good for him. And, for Carolina, I think it's a really tough matchup, but sure, Tet like normal outside of that. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, guys. Everybody, thanks so much for watching, hanging out, throwing in your questions today. Louie, tell everybody where they can find you online.
Yep. I am at FF_Louie Gee on Twitter. You can catch me on Analytics Are For The Nerds, which is, what is it? At No Nerds_FF. We record every Wednesday night there. And yeah, find me there.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will be back next week. We will be here 11 a.m. and ready to do your start sits for week 13. Everybody go make those last minute lineup changes. Get your DFS picks in. Hopefully make a little money today. Get some wins. Get in those fantasy playoffs. And we will see you next week.